Individual intelligence test. Intelligence testing is one of the major achievements of psychology in the 20th century. Several tests of intelligence were developed and refined. Tests can be categorized based on administration as well as the nature of test items. Today we will learn individual intelligence test. Before going to the details, please remember to subscribe this channel if you are new here. Do watch other videos in this channel, share it with students and those who love learning psychology. Thank you. Types of intelligence test. First one based on administration. Individual tests are there and group tests are there. Then based on the nature of test item, three kinds: verbal test, non-verbal test and performance test. In this video, we will be learning individual intelligence test. These are standardized assessments that are designed to measure an individual's cognitive abilities such as problem solving, reasoning, memory, and perception. These tests are typically administered one-on-one by a qualified professional such as a psychologist and can take several hours to complete. There are several types of individual intelligence tests, including the Stanford-Binet scale of intelligence, the Wechsler scales, the Kaufman scales, and the Das-Naglieri cognitive assessment system. Each test has its own unique set of tasks and questions that are designed to measure various aspects of intelligence. Stanford-Binet scale of intelligence. It was first published in 1905. The Stanford-Binet intelligence scale is the oldest standardized intelligence test. It was first developed by French psychologist Alfred Binet and later revised and adapted by American psychologist Lewis Terman. It has been revised several times and the 5th edition was published in 2003. The Stanford-Binet intelligence scale is a standardized test that is designed to measure cognitive abilities and intelligence in individuals from age 2 to adulthood. The test includes both verbal and non-verbal components, and it takes between 45 and 90 minutes, depending on the number of the sub-tests administered. The test is divided into several sub-tests, which are designed to measure a wide range of cognitive abilities, such as verbal reasoning, abstract or visual reasoning, quantitative reasoning, short-term memory, and processing speed. The subtests are scored and combined to yield an overall IQ score. It is intended to provide a measure of an individual's intellectual ability. Let's see an example where the Stanford-Binet intelligence scale might be used. Consider a 7-year-old child who is struggling in school. Her teacher has noticed that she seems to have difficulty with reading comprehension and math, and she often appears to be distracted or disengaged in class. Her parents are also concerned as they have noticed that she seems to have difficulty remembering things and following instructions at home. In such cases, psychologists can administer the Stanford-Binet intelligence scale to assess her cognitive abilities. During the assessment, child is given a series of subsets, each sub-test of Stanford-Binet one at a time. The subtest may include tasks such as identifying objects, completing puzzles, answering questions verbally, and performing mathematical calculations. The psychologist would score each subtest according to established guidelines and norms. Then the scores are combined from each subtest to calculate an overall IQ score for the individual being assessed. Based on the result of the assessment, the child's parents and teachers are able to better understand her cognitive strength and weakness and can work together to provide her with the support and resources she needs to succeed in school. The Wechsler scales. This is also a series of standardized tests that are designed to measure cognitive abilities and intelligence in individuals from age 6 to adulthood. There are several versions of the test, including the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale and the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children. The Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children is used on children aged 6 years through 16 years and 11 months. There are two batteries of subtests. Verbal, it measures reasoning, memory, general knowledge and language skill. Then another subtest is performance. It measures sequencing, problem solving and spatial skills. Scores on the subtest yield verbal comprehension, perceptual reasoning, working memory and processing speed score. The test, available in paper and computer versions, takes about 90 minutes to complete. The Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale was developed in 1955 and is currently its fourth version, which was published in 2008. The current version of the test includes 10 sub-tests and 5 supplemental tests. It provides the test taker with a full-scale IQ and a general ability index. The test taker receives a verbal comprehension index, a perceptual reasoning index, a working memory index, and a processing speed index. To obtain the verbal comprehension index, the test includes similarities, vocabulary, information, and comprehension sections. The perceptual reasoning index is obtained from block design, matrix reasoning, and visual puzzle test. Working memory is tested through digit span and arithmetic, while processing speed is tested through symbol search and coding. Let us see an example of where the Wechsler scale are used. If a person has struggled with reading comprehension and written expression throughout his academic career, he can undergo an assessment of his cognitive abilities to help identify any potential barriers to his academic success. During the assessment, the person is given a series of subtests and it measures his verbal comprehension, perceptual reasoning, working memory, and processing speed. The subtest may include tasks such as identifying object, completing puzzle, answering questions verbally, and performing mathematical calculations. The psychologist would combine the score from each subtest to calculate and the overall IQ score of the individual is assessed. Next is the Kaufman scales. The Kaufman Assessment Battery for Children, KABC, and the Kaufman Assessment Battery for Adults, KAB, are standardized intelligence tests designed to assess cognitive abilities across multiple domains, including verbal and non-verbal abilities, as well as memory and learning skills. The KABC and KAB were developed by psychologist Dr. Alan Kaufman and are commonly used in clinical and educational settings. The Kaufman Assessment Battery for Children was developed to be culturally neutral and is often used for children aged 3 to 18 who are non-verbal, learning disabled, or not familiar with the dominant culture. The test can take as little as 25 minutes and it can be long as 70 minutes. The KABC and KAB consist of a series of subtests that measure different aspects of cognitive ability. Let's see an example. A parent is concerned about their child's academic and behavioral performance at school, and the child's teacher also concerned about the child's ability to concentrate and retain information. KABC is done, and if the child performs well on the verbal knowledge subtest and if he struggles with simultaneous processing, the parent and teacher may consider providing the child with additional visual aid or breaking down complex tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. Alternatively, if the child performs well on the memory subtest but struggle with sequential processing, then the parent and teacher may consider providing the child with additional opportunities for auditory learning and memory tasks. Next is Das-Naglieri Cognitive Assessment System. It is developed as an alternative to the IQ test. The Das-Naglieri Cognitive Assessment System measures the test taker's cognitive ability. The test was designed for children and adolescents between 5 and 7 years of age, but has also been used to measure cognitive impairment in adults. This test has its theoretical background in the PASS model of intelligence, advanced by Das, Naglieri, and Kirby in 1994. The cognitive assessment system is used both for research and to identify children who may have particular educational needs. It measures both cognitive strength and weakness. It may be used to identify both children with potential learning disabilities and candidates for gifted programs. The standard battery of test takes roughly 60 minutes to administer, while the basic battery requires only 40 minutes. Both versions of the test are divided into 4 sections with 3 sub-tests, each for the standard battery and 2 for the basic. The 4 sections are planning. It figures out the best strategy to solve a set of novel tasks. Then attention. It focuses on one particular thing while other stimuli compete for attention. Then simultaneous. Integrate separate components into a single group. Then fourth is successive. Remember or complete information in a specific order. In this video, we have learned types of intelligence. Based on administration, 2 types, individual and group. Based on the nature of test item, verbal, non-verbal and performance tests are there. We have seen in detail the individual intelligence test, like the Stanford-Binet scale of intelligence, the Wechsler scales, the Kaufman scales, and the Das-Naglieri cognitive assessment system. In the upcoming video, we will get familiar with the group intelligence test. Hope you liked this video. Please share and subscribe. Thank you and keep smiling.